Tracking or showing an animation on a map turns out to be pretty useful to convey information to the user. In this case, we're going to add a button to the map, and then we're going to move a marker through a number of bus stops between MIT and Harvard. There is a bus that moves between these two institutions. So let's go ahead and get started. As you can see here, I have the basic boilerplate for a map, but in this case, we're going to add a few more things. We're going to start off by creating a style called map overlay. Where we're going to set the position to be absolute. Then we're going to set left to 0. Then we're going to set our padding to 10. 10 pixels, that is. Next, we're going to write our div that will hold the button. And as you can see there, I have the div for the map. But in this one is going to be for the button. So let's go ahead and write our div. And inside of it, we're going to have a button. And inside of that button, we're going to show the following. Show stops between MIT and Harvard. We'll go ahead and add the onClick event. And we're going to write a function afterwards, call move, to move that marker. We'll also set some styles here for the font to have it nice and big. And I will set the font size to be 2 EM. And lastly, I'm going to place the class map overlay to the div that's holding the button. So this will be map dash overlay. Then I'm also going to add the top class. This is part of the styles that Mapbox defines. And at this point, if we were to reload the page, we'd see that we have that big button that says show stops between MIT and Harvard. Next, I'm going to scroll up and start to work on the script tags. And inside of here, I'm going to set my access token as well as my map. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm now going to go ahead and reload the page. And as you can see there, I have the map in Cambridge. Here is MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And up here is where Harvard is. And the bus moves through Massachusetts Avenue that starts here and will move along this route all the way to the Harvard campus. Next, let's scroll up and add a marker to the map. I'm going to go ahead and add that code here. And as you can see there, we are adding a new marker at a latitude and longitude there that is specified on line 40, and then we're adding that to the map. So let's go ahead and reload the page. And as you can see there, we have our marker there at the beginning of the MIT campus. And next we're going to add a number of latitude and longitude coordinates that correspond to each of the bus stops. And simply to illustrate the point, if I was to scroll in pretty close, you'd see the one that is on the MIT campus. Here is a bus stop. Let me go ahead and see. Here is the 77 Massachusetts Avenue bus stop. And I have collected the coordinates for the rest of the bus stops along the way. And I'll go ahead and reload the page so we can see the full map. And now I'm going to go ahead and paste those coordinates. And as you can see there, we have a number of bus stops that takes us all the way from one campus to the other. Now it's time to write our move function. And we're going to start off by creating a variable for a counter. and I'm going to initialize that at 0. And then I'm going to write the move function. Move, then the body. And inside of it, I'm going to have a timer. The timer is going to be set timeout. And then inside of it, I'm going to use the fat arrows notation. And now we're ready to start writing the body of that timer. We're going to start off here by checking to see where we are within that array of coordinates. And so we will check the counter to make sure that it's larger or equal than the bus stops dot length. And if it is, then that means we've gone through all of the coordinates, all of the positions, and we will return. Otherwise, we will move the marker to the new latitude and longitude. So set LNG, LAT, and then the bus stops in the specific counter position that we're in. Then we will increase our counter. So next time this timer is called, you advance to the next position. And then we call ourselves again to have a repeating function that is executing. And the last thing that we want to do is that we want to set a time increment for the counter. So let's go ahead and reload the page. Make sure we have the new code. And now I'm going to click on the big button that says show stops. And if things are working well, as they are, you can see there the marker moving and stopping at each of the bus stops in between the two campus. So you can imagine this being used to illustrate a certain route, but you could also be in continuous communication with a server, extracting those coordinates and updating a UI to show where a bus is. You could do that for many other things as well. And if you've used modern applications that show tracking for shuttles or for buses or for trains, this is very much the mechanism that is being used. To practice, find a source of data that has latitudes and longitudes along a path that you want to illustrate, or look for live data where you could extract that information and show it on the map.